And spawning in the top right hand corner of altitude, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the best Protoss in all of Canada, representing Team Basilisk. It is Trigger. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of altitude, we have his opponent. We have the best player in all of Taiwan, representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Nice. So I'm looking at the chat. Nice cheese, but even nicer defense. Oh, I see what you did there. Aye. Oh boy, as we do have, oh my god, yeah. Remember how I said we may get a longer game? Nope. Not at all. Nice is going for a gate expand. To be expected, it makes plenty of sense here on altitude. We do have that ramp to be safe and sound and have that defender's advantage. Trigger is going for a 2-gate opener. Oh, yeah, and he's already sending his first probe across the map to get a bit of a scout off. Does run past the turtle. Will confirm the opener of his opponent. And Trigger is going to take the role of the aggressor. Oh boy, Nice will straight up have an economic advantage if he's able to get away with this, and for Trigger to open up in such a manner, I imagine he does plan to be quite aggressive indeed. I love this from Nice though, he's actually chasing the scouting probe. He knows that if Trigger did go for an aggressive opener, which he did, the likelihood of Trigger throwing down a proxy, which he has, is quite high, and Nice is just going to be chasing this probe down. Wants to make sure that if this probe does anything crazy, Nice will know about it. And he has thrown down a pylon. Pylon does finish up, and Trigger will be able to rotate around and throw down a building, but Nice is here to try to stop him or even figure out what is going on. It's Proxy Robo. This is a bold move. Trigger going for the Proxy Robo in the face of Nice. Nice does see it coming a mile away, and now Nice has plenty of time to respond, to react. But can he? Oh, as he throws down a Forge. Interesting choice. So with the Forge, I do love this. So obviously the disadvantage that Nice has is that he only has one gateway. He has very limited production to work with. So how do you make up for that? Well, with a Forge. A Forge does provide you cannons. And we're going to have a couple of Stalkers. We're going to have, I imagine, a Void Ray soon and the cannons to help defend. But is it going to be enough? The other thing that I appreciate is that this is a full wall. There is no way into this, so the threat of Adepts shading past this into a mineral line into the main base is just not there. As we can see, the Adepts, there is just no way in. They're going to be chipping away at the first cannon, but there is already Stalker waiting for them. Is going to be able to DPS them down. And as we get into this game, a massive shout out to Dave Testa in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid of 69. Nice. Speaking of Nice, we're casting Nice as well. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dave Tesla. We were talking about Dave earlier. Dave is the man behind the KSL, alongside Chicken Man, to be fair. Thank you so much. We do appreciate the support. As always, Poppy, as always. Meanwhile, Trigger is bypassing the ramp. He's going straight into the main base. The Prism has arrived, and oh boy, Nice is in a bit of trouble. Thankfully, he was ready for this. There is already a shield battery in the main base. He's throwing down the cannon. The Void Ray is about to pop. The Adepts do shade into the natural, but there are no probes to deal with. There are so many Stalkers, though. Nice has to be very careful not to overextend with that Void Ray. The Adepts do commit to the shade, and they're going to be dealt with, but not before they focus on some of those workers. At the same time, the Stalkers lay siege upon these cannons. They do force a cancel. They do force a kill as well. Oh boy. The Adepts are finally going to be dealt with, but behind this we have 9 Stalkers in the main base of Nice. The overcharge is not enough. We have high enough DPS to just power through the first Void Ray. GG gets called. And Trigger will take game number 1. Oh my god, GG. The confidence of Trigger to go for the proxy in the face of Nice, to commit anyway. Oh my god, and unfortunately Nice just wasn't ready for it. I mean, he was ready at his natural. He did have a shield battery in his main, but we saw he was trying desperately to get cannons up and running as well. He just wasn't able to. Without cannons, again, he has just very limited production capability. He could only make 1 unit at a time, 1 Stalker, 1 Void Ray, 1 Immortal. Things snowballed very quickly out of control. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Game numero dos is upon us. Potentially the final game of the series. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the Canadian Protoss player representing Team Basilisk, leading the series 1-0. It is Trigger. And spawning. I see this. He's versus 69, Bobby. Oh, you're not wrong. In the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Nice. There we go. This time, there's no risk of a gate expander. Both players are going for 2 gate openers overall. There's no ramp into the natural. No one is tempted to go for it, and as a result, we should be seeing a more back and forth game. So bold of Trigger to, I mean, I'm sure that's why Altitude made it through the veto process. Trigger's like, yo, you can expand, but I won't let you live, Bobby. I won't let you get into this game. He had a plan for Altitude, and yeah, just really powerful stuff out of Trigger. That's the reason why he's one of the best players in all of North America right now. And we'll see how this does turn out. Fun fact, we haven't seen a mid game yet. We've casted like 3 PvP so far, and we haven't casted a single mid game. It's all been all-ins. Like even Gressfan between Creature and Ranger led into a 2-base all-in, which again we didn't quite get into 3-base saturation. We didn't quite get into a back and forth, and hey, that's PvP for you, especially on the NA ladder. It's how we do, Bobby. It's how we do. As we get to see what first units come out from these 2 players, Trigger is going to be going for double Adept. Nice goes for double Stalker. So Trigger wants to be the aggressor. Nice wants to have map control and attempt to keep up with the movement of his opponent. With the army as well, we do see Nice does send out a probe over towards the left-hand side of the map, is rallied to go for a bit of a scout and avoid the center pathway and avoid the initial units of Trigger. He should be able to, and this is going to be an important scout here from Nice. As Trigger, he's not just making 2 Adepts, he's making 2 more behind this. So Trigger is going to be hyper aggressive with these Adepts. He's going to be looking to shade past these Stalkers. He wants to try to get on top of the probe if possible. And with an abundance of Adepts, you can actually DPS down this shield battery. If you have 4 to 6 Adepts, you can work through it and break into the main base. With only 2, not yet. We're not quite at that point. Ooh, and we do force a recall. Adepts do barely make it out. Meanwhile, Nice, he slips into the main base, and the proxy pylon doesn't get scattered. I appreciate this, though. I appreciate the move from Nice. He was trying to be a little bit cheeky, trying to slip in a pylon, but alas, it will be dealt with. Oh, it actually finishes. Oh my god. Okay, so that is going to be buying Nice some time. This is getting into his Stargate opener. Meanwhile, across the map, the Stalkers have arrived. And because Trigger went for 4 Adepts, he just can't really contest against this army. Not without shield batteries. There we go. With the shield batteries finishing up, he can push this away. Bit of an overreaction here at the Trigger as well. 2 shield batteries, 2 pylons. Making sure his natural is safe and sound. And Trigger is getting into Robo production. I believe this was scattered by Nice. He did see the Robo. He's aware of the potential of Immortals. Meanwhile, Nice is going to be committing into Oracle production. With this, he's going to be looking to get an economic lead. His natural base is a little bit later than Trigger, so naturally, Nice is going to have a little bit less economy. But these shield batteries are also working against Trigger as well. I think Trigger's working towards a 2-base all-in. I don't think he really intends for this to go on any longer. We'll see how many immortals he does make, because there is no Twilight Council, there is no Blink. We'll see. We'll see what the plan is from our Canadian Protoss. Meanwhile, the first Oracle is zooming across the map, and Trigger is in position. We have 2 Stalkers. We have 3 Sentries as well. More than enough DPS in the main base. Same can be said for the Natural. There is that Twilight Council being thrown down from Trigger as well. Okay. Never mind. So we're not going to be going for any kind of vanilla push. We are going to be working towards Blink. Likewise, Nice also throws down his own Twilight Council. Oh, and Nice, he knows it's been scouted, so he's not going to be committing with his Oracles. I love this. He's throwing down Stasis Traps instead. Looking for other ways to gain value. As things are going to be calming down a little bit. Things are going to be chilling down. The Revelation into the Natural just to get an eye on the army itself. And I'm really curious if Trigger does go for a 3rd base. He throws down 2 more gateways. Working towards Blink. There is no Forge. So Nice, over time his army will be stronger. It will be better. Nice dips into the main. He does confirm the additional gateways being thrown down. Nice goes for his own. His gateways are here at the Natural. Interesting choice here from Nice. The first kind of major deviation is that we have a Templar Archives. So Nice on 2 bases is very quickly taking up into Charge Lot Archon. Which is typically something that you see on 3 bases. Meanwhile, Trigger, he throws down more gates, and he's going to be going straight into a Robotics Bay. So Trigger, as his opponent rushes into Charge Lot Archon, Trigger is skipping charge and going straight for Disruptors. Okay. We're just one-upping each other. As I would say that Disruptors are kind of the end goal here. They are the ideal unit in PvP. Stalker Disruptor is so commonplace for a reason. You can get so much value. There's so much micro potential. And I want to believe that Nice wants to hit a timing here with +1 and charge. He wants to try and break Trigger before he can get into a scary Colossus. Colossus Disruptor count. He's going for double Disruptor production off of 2 bases. Oh my god. He's crazy. Trigger does attempt to take a 3rd, but he is going to be stasis. Nice is aware of this. He sees, he knows. I love it. The Oracles are here in time as well to focus on that probe if they want to. And they will. And here comes a 2-base all-in from Nice. Oh, never mind. He starts up +2 and he's throwing down his 3rd. Okay. Nice. He thinks about it. He goes in. He sees the Robo. He sees the Bay. I think he may... Yeah, he does see the Disruptor as well. Nice does not want to push into Disruptors. He's like, you know what? You can do you. And he starts Phoenix production. So Phoenixes have a really interesting role here in PvP. As you can imagine, they do a great job at... Oh my god! As we do bait the army into a stasis. And the soldiers are stuck midair. Not like this. But Phoenixes... They have a really interesting role here. When you're behind in Disruptors, you can go, and it looks like, yeah, Nice, he doesn't want to make any Disruptors at all. He's going for double Stargate production. This is a really risky move. So the goal here is that the Phoenixes are going to lift up and crowd control these Disruptors. And as the Disruptors get lifted up, obviously their Novas do get disabled. Their Purification Novas do get cancelled. So the goal here from Nice is to try and crowd control and pick off every single Disruptor, and even Immortals if possible with his Phoenixes. It can be really risky because if Nice gets out of position, or if he gets caught out of position, and if he loses his Phoenixes, then he will have no answer to the Disruptors. Likewise, he himself is going to be sacrificing the quality of his army as well because he's not getting into Disruptors himself. So it's going to be a PvP where one player has Novas and the other doesn't. This is a very intentional choice here from Nice. As he's building up that Phoenix count. Goes for another revelation, just keeping an eye on the army. Trigger going to be going for a bit of prism harass here, as he does slip around to the right-hand side of the map. Likewise, Trigger is even going for DTs. He's just taking up in every direction. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. The Prism is going to slip into the main base. We are forcing, or at least Nice does spot this. He's going to react with his Stalkers. Sorry, with his Phoenixes. With everything. Prism is shut down. At the same time, Nice is very quickly going to be taking his 4th base as well. But to be honest, this will all come down to the fight. This will all come down to one explosive battle. Or maybe it won't be explosive, right? Like maybe all the Phoenixes do pick up the Disruptors. Depends what connects, what goes off. But because of the double robo production, I'll be honest, can we pick up all these Disruptors? How many are there going to be? We already have 7. 7 Disruptors. We have 10 Phoenixes, to be fair, but still. That's a lot to deal with. Meanwhile, Nice is working on a +1 air attack. Okay, I see you. And he's getting into Colossi production. He really doesn't like Disruptors. He really just doesn't want to make them. He refuses. Oh my god, his Trigger is setting up for a DT run by. Do we have detection available? We do, but all the observers, the majority of the observers are here in the middle of the map. Oh, this counterattack can do a lot of damage. Nice does get a faster 4th base. He is taking an economic lead. He does have a higher worker count. Trigger's 4th is far later, but it may not matter because of these DTs. We're also investing into Blink. Blink for these DTs is on the way. Shadow Stride, of course. Disruptor count just getting higher. We are up to 8 Disruptors. Oh boy. And Nice is taking up into a Fleet Beacon. This is proper late game PvP. If he can get into Sky Toss, if he can get into Carriers, then Disruptors will not matter. But what does matter are the DTs as they do go for the run by. Cannon goes down and Natural is under threat. We need detection. Colossus even gets scouted. The entire army races back home. Nice is heavily out of position and Trigger is going for the 4th. Oof. The DTs have done so much here for Trigger as the 4th base is completely exposed. The Disruptors are looking to zone away the army, and yeah, this 4th base is going to go down for free. Not just the 4th, but every single worker here. Nice is going to try to engage, but the Disruptors are just zoning him away. Oh my god! Ooh. Has a massive Nova, will connect with the army. We do have a massive pickup, and every single Disruptor is now in the air. Like they just don't care. Oh my god, is it going to be enough? It looks like it may be. The Colossi, the Immortals are powering on through. Nice is taking an amazing fight. I didn't believe. I was so concerned that he wouldn't be able to pick up every Disruptor, but he did. Trigger losing so much of his army. He did get a base though. He got a base, he got a mineral line, 19 probes went down, but after that fight, Trigger is down to 1 Disruptor. And Nice, he lost some gateway units, but he preserved his high-tech units. He preserved his Immortals, his Colossi. Oh, but that's a lot of Stalkers, actually. And that's a kill, not a cancel on the 4th base once again. It's like, sure, you killed all the Disruptors, but this Stalker army is still very robust. It's still very scary. Nice has to make up for that. There we go. The first carrier is on the way. We had triple robo production. Oh my god, my god. That's so much gas. We see Nice looking to double expand. He has to at this point. Like, Nice... because of all these Phoenixes, like Phoenixes, fun fact, they don't shoot buildings. They don't really do too well when it comes to laying siege upon some of these fringe bases, so Nice can't really counterattack. He has to double expand instead, or it looks like he's just taking the center base for the time being. But Trigger is here. Trigger, he rotates around and no, not again. Is it cancel this time? The Novas are picked up. Oh my god. Disruptors are lifted, and we do see those Immortals in the backline doing so much damage. Even though Nice has a smaller army, it's a higher quality army, and he does take another good fight. Meanwhile, Trigger is taking a 5th, just perpetually ahead in bases. And the carrier was just revealed. Okay, so we're gonna have a really interesting dynamic. We still don't quite have double carrier production. We don't have the economy. We can't make too many carriers right now. But as the carrier count gets higher and higher, like Nice's army is just getting stronger and stronger as well. Oof. Trigger is committed. He is committed to the Stalker Disruptor though. And carriers in low enough numbers are still very vulnerable to Stalkers. As you can imagine, Stalkers, they can just blink onto them and focus down carriers in 1 or 2 volleys. It's still a really tense moment. It feels like Nice is playing on a knife's edge right now. Like he's playing with such a high quality army, but such a small army as well. Unit-wise, I mean. Mortals, Colossi, Archons, Phoenixes. Here we go. Novas are going to be going off, but once again, they do get cancelled. At the same time, DT run by here on the left-hand side. There is a cannon in position and a shield battery. Oof. DTs do blink out just in time. The main army of Trigger is pushing forward. The Phoenixes are not here. They can't pick up. Oh no! Nova does connect with an Archon. Takes 2 Novas to take down an Archon. Another will connect as well. Good value here from Trigger. The DTs are coming back in. Do we have anything to defend? The cannons aren't done yet. And Nice is being pulled apart. As the base goes down. Nice is just having a hard time holding on to this 4th base. He's been stuck on a 3-base economy for far too long. And a massive Nova connects. In the blink of an eye, Nice, he drops 40 supply. Around 30 supply, to be fair. He just can't hold on to his 4th base. He can't sustain a good enough economy to support all these carriers. Speaking of, we blink on forward and 1 carrier will not go down. Oh my god. Phoenixes, they're cracked, man. Oh god. Up. No shot. The one Stalker was left behind and the carrier goes down. Oh no. This is becoming a little bit too much. Nice still takes a very efficient fight. Like when Nice can focus on it, he can go to town on this army. He has such an intense composition. But again, if he had a 4th base, he could have more carriers. He could just have a larger army overall. It's just this is so expensive, he just can't afford it. Another Nova will go off. So here we go, Nice. He's pretty committed. He's pushing on in. We have the overcharge. Oof. And Nice is just pushing on into the 3rd base. Trigger being forced back. The overcharge does run out. Shield battery goes down. We don't have that many Phoenixes left. Bear that in mind. There's only 1 Disruptor. Oh, but Nice is forcing his way through. He picks it up. We do have a flanking Disruptor, but no, it goes down as well. And with that, we only have pure Stalker against Carrier, Colossi, and Immortals. Nice has done it. He may have had a really hard time getting the 4th base up and running, but you know what? He didn't even need it. Didn't even need it. The quality of his army was just too damn good. Not just the quality, but his control as well. He was doing such an amazing job picking up so many of these Disruptors. And Trigger's being forced back to his 4th base. To be fair, Trigger can afford to lose bases. He loses 3rd, but he has a 5th and a 6th. Like he has plenty of bases to be taken, but his army is shrinking in size. Oh, the Disruptors don't quite go off. And GG gets called. Trigger knows he can't really contest against this. Nice takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Oh my god. That was crazy. That was absolutely insane. GG, well played. again, when Nice could focus on the main army fights, he was trading so well. But we saw that the DTs were doing so much for Trigger. They were just creating all of these openings, all these opportunities, going for these DT run-bys into the main, into the natural, into the third base, pulling apart the attention of Nice. And that created these opportunities for Trigger to take down the fourth time and time and time again. I think he killed the fourth base 3 or 4 times. Just crippling the economy of Nice, not allowing him to snowball out of control. But at a certain point, Nice was like, screw it. He's like, screw it. I'm just pushing out. I'm just going to move out across the map and we'll see what happens. And Nice was able to pull it off in the end. GG. GG, well played. Why are we here? It's not your time yet, Papi. It's not your time. Let's go. Let's go. I guess I just spoiled it a little bit, but Kot actually did take down Ranger in the lower bracket, so we have a very different player waiting for the winner of this series. Oh, sorry, the loser of this series. And it could be either one. It could be either Trigger or Nice. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. We're going all the way to the ace match. Oh, vámonos. Here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales. We have the Canadian Protoss player representing Team Basilisk. Whew. The best Protoss in all Canada. It is Trigger. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have his opponent. We have the best player in all of Taiwan representing Starlight Twinkle, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is Nice. And that was a PvP. That was beautiful, mate. That was everything we want to see. But now we're gonna be back. We're gonna be going back to the aggression because Nice is setting up for a gate expand. Trigger once again. He did this on altitude in game 1. He's doing it again on Dragon Scales. He's going for a 2-gate opener. Trigger is going to be the aggressor. We saw in game 1, even though Nice saw the proxy robo as it was thrown down, he couldn't stop it. He could not stop the one base all in from Trigger, and Trigger may be looking to do it again. If you weren't here for the previous games, on a map like Dragon Scales, it's usually safe to go for a gate expand just because of the ramp. You do have an added advantage here defensively, and there we go. It is that gate expand from Nice. So Nice is going to be taking the defensive role. Trigger decides to go for a 2-gate opener here. And I imagine he's going to be setting up a proxy, as he does have a probe here on the right-hand side of the map. Trigger scouts. Trigger confirms the economic opener of Nice. And in a way, Trigger could try to go for an expansion here, but he'll just be behind. He'll just be behind economically. Intentionally, Trigger, I'm sure, wants to be aggressive, and we'll see what he goes for, as this proxy pylon is very far away. And it's going to be a proxy Stargate. Okay, there we go. Interesting. So I believe that Trigger is going to expand behind this. So Trigger isn't going to be going all in. He's going to be aggressive, don't get me wrong, but I believe he will be, taking his natural. He's going to be going for Oracles and Adepts. He's going to be going for just mass harass instead. Adepts looking to shade into a mineral line. Oracles looking to dive into a mineral line as well. Trigger knows that the onus is on him to deal economic damage to get himself back into this, and that's exactly what he's planning to do. Meanwhile, Nice is aware that something is wrong. We have a safety shield battery on the way here at the natural. Nice is going to be scouting the left-hand side of the map, looking for any proxies. Shout out to the turtle. Beautiful. And there is that base being taken by Trigger. We can already see the worker count of Nice taking a bit of a lead here already. But we'll see if he can keep that lead. As Trigger is rocking up with those first 2 adepts, so we have a full wall here at the natural. The adepts will not get in. And that gives Nice the freedom to keep his attention in his main base. His shield battery finishes up. We have Stalkers in position. The Oracle dives in, but the Oracle won't be able to do anything. Oof. Yeah, as a shield battery is ready. Fun fact, an Oracle cannot out-DPS a shield battery. 2 Oracles can, but 1 cannot. So Nice defends beautifully. And even here at the natural, he's going to be spending a lot of shield battery energy, but he's going to be able to hold on. Once again, Nice goes for the in-base pylon in Trigger's main. Wait, he does get caught out. Shout out to Nice. not the first time he's done this. But the pylon will go down. Trigger's aware. Meanwhile, that 1 Oracle is now 2, and now he has one-shot potential. He can actually focus down these probes. Nice is in position, but only with 2 Stalkers. Oh, and the Oracles, they bypass. They do rotate around, and they are going to be able to get a couple of probe kills. Oof. 5, 6 probes go down, and both Oracles survive. Very nice damage here from Trigger. He does even up the worker count. And more importantly, he keeps the Oracles alive. They're going to be able to regenerate those shields and dive in again for a second round. Speaking of, oh, they do show up here at the natural. There are units in position though, and Trigger only gets a single probe this time. Nice, much better prepared. But what's important is, again, you know, Nice is only up 1 probe, only 1. So Trigger has done what he needed to do. Behind this, he's transitioning into Blink, into additional gateways, into his Forge. Meanwhile, Nice is headed in the same direction as well. Obviously, these upgrades are a little bit faster. The reason for this is because Nice didn't have to waste any gas on harassing Stargate or Oracles. Instead, he was able to preserve his gas and spend it on Blink, on the Forge, on +1, on even this robot. So Nice still has certain advantages, but Trigger did keep these Oracles alive, so he can go in and he can do even more economic damage if he ever finds the opportunity to. Meanwhile, 3rd base is being taken, so this is another way for Trigger to get back into this economically, is to take a much faster 3rd than your opponent, so you can, again, have an economic lead yourself. Oh, and Nice is going to be losing some of his Stalkers. 2 Stalkers go down for free. Ay. And even almost a 3rd as well. There is no shield battery, bear that in mind, so Nice has to be very careful here as he dances with the Stalkers of Trigger. We even have a stasis trap here at the triangular 3rd to delay any kind of 3rd base being taken. And Nice does move out. Looking at the gateway count, Nice has actually gone up to 6 gateways on 2 bases. It looks like he does not intend to throw down a 3rd base. He's looking to push in with only 2. With only 2 bases, we have a mass amount of Stalkers. Nice has the greater Stalker production. At the same time, the Oracles dive in. Oh, but they don't get any damage done. They do force a warp in back at home. That will give Trigger a little bit more breathing room. He's looking to catch any stray units. A Prism, an Immortal, a Stalker. Oh, as Nice has the better concave. Trigger, he wants to fight within range of these shield batteries. He does trigger the shield on that Immortal. Meanwhile, Nice doesn't want to get baited up the ramp. He wants to go up a different ramp, up into the natural, where there is no shield battery. There is a cannon. We do see Trigger coming in from behind, but he gets zoned away from the overcharge. Oh, no. Trigger, he does snipe the Prism, but he loses so many Stalkers. Nice outpositions him. He takes down the pylon, depowers the shield batteries. Trigger no longer has the defender's advantage, and this 3rd base is going to be going down. He needs to set up at his natural instead, and Nice may just have too much momentum. Trigger, he's trying to race back home as we speak, but there's nothing stopping Nice from pushing up into the main. We do have 1 defensive Immortal, but it's going to be going down. 2 volleys is all it takes. Likewise, the Immortal of Nice is also going to be focused down as well, but he has the greater Stalker count. In comes some reinforcements. The boys are being pulled. But alas, Nice just has it too much. The Prism was remade. And without a shield battery, like, I don't know how we're going to be able to hold on, and I don't think we can. The Immortal goes down for a second time. GG gets called. And Nice moves on to the Grand Finals. GG, well played. Oh. GG, congratulations here to Nice. I would say that Trigger came in as the favorites, but Nice was able to, bring that back in the end. Game 1 was rough. If you remember, Game 1 was on altitude where Trigger just went for a 1-base all-in and just styled all over Nice, and I was really concerned. After Game 1 that would be how the series would go, you know, it would just be a little bit too one-sided, it'd be too quick, but we saw that, hey, give Nice a natural, give him an expansion, and Nice has, like, a very interesting way of playing as well. Like, Game 2 was so much fun, for Nice to kind of flip the meta on its head a little bit and recognize that his opponent was going for Disruptors and going for Mass Phoenix instead, not just going Mass Phoenix, but also going into triple Robo production, into Immortals and Colossi as well. Like, Nice had a really unique army composition, something that you don't see too often at all. And he was able to utilize it very well against Trigger. Here in game number 3, Trigger was a little bit too greedy. He was taking his third to get an economic advantage, and even though he had those oracles, something that he was missing was the 5th and 6th gateway. I don't know if you noticed, we briefly mentioned it during the cast, but Nice, he threw down his 5th and 6th gateway. They were actually hidden behind his natural. We quickly saw that as we panned over to the fight. But 6 gateways on two bases is a signifier that it's a 2-base all-in, and Trigger did miss it in the main. So he wasn't aware that he had to prepare himself back at home. He had shield batteries at his 3rd, no shield batteries at his natural because he didn't think he needed them. He didn't think it was necessary. So, yeah, what a wild series. Congratulations to Nice. As we're getting ready for our lower bracket finals.